Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. Oh, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show. Oh, yes. Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy. Hello, everyone. What's up? What's up? Hello to my truth seekers. Welcome to the Truth Show. My name is Keisha. Now, this video will discuss Ivanka Trump's criticism of the resort as well as her interactions with Trump, Epstein, and her late mother, Ivanka Trump. Why won't she acknowledge what she witnessed and experienced? Why does she constantly support Trump? Does she know they're calling her husband and she the new Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? And Ivanka is a mother, and she allowed this monster to get away with repeatedly abusing her as a child and her mother as well, possibly even killing her. It's her mother. You know what? I don't know. I don't know why she does this. I'm still trying to grasp hold on why this woman continuously remain loyal to this monster. I don't know. It's beyond any understanding of Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean? It's this movie that I'm watching here that had Kerry Washington, a young actress that plays in Homemaids or Maids. You know, that's who. And we'll definitely dive deep into her little illusions definitely later, because it's something a lot of us, immigration bill that was approved by the Senate and is currently being considered by the House. Okay, an assassin rumor or attempt of some sort emerged, you know, when Trump UFC and Comeback show collapsed. We're going to talk about all of that and more. I'm going to talk about all of that. Okay. You already had your warnings. I want to get that done and over with in the beginning of the show so we can just jump right in here. So, yeah, let's get started. All right, now that we got that out of the way, just my mic here. Okay, in this next one up here, it seems that Ivanka Trump, I really do not want caption. Okay, it seems that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner are facing public criticism over a luxury resort. And I've talked about this in my last live shows, but I'm going to talk about it again. Okay. Yeah. Resort project here. And they're reportedly involved in developing the Backlash centers on concerns that the resort would disrupt local communities, damage the environment, and push out residents due to rising costs and tourism pressure. Now, critics say the couple is trying to profit from land that should remain protected or community focused. Some commentators also argue the project feels tone deaf given the current political climate and economic struggles many Americans are facing. So they basically said that this project is literally just a profit for themselves. They're not thinking about trying to, upheave the community, provide more jobs. I'm sure they are. It's more just a notch in their whole billion-dollar empire and infrastructure and ego, so to speak. That's basically what they're saying. Now, to sum it up, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner are catching heat again, this time over the luxury resort project that locals say could damage the environment, raise housing costs, and disrupt the communities. Critics argue the couple is trying to build a billionaire playground in an area that can't sustain it. Supporters claim it will bring jobs, but residents say the cost to their land and lifestyle is too high. And in a moment where people are struggling financially, the optics of a resort and they see the surrounding areas are so limited means that eventually they're gonna want the image aligning with the resort, which means they're gonna start kicking other people out and start building condos around this resort, and a lot of people are gonna lose their homes just so Ivanka can get more money or look great. I don't know what's wrong with this naive, stupid freaking girl, but I got a feeling she's willing to hide all the pain her father had done to millions. Maybe millions is a bit abrasive, but plenty young kids and girls, even herself, even to the point of her mother, just so she can stay rich and retain this status. That is beyond freaking sick. Beyond, I can't take this girl is, ooh. You know what? Take a look at these clips.
I'm working on an incredible I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is. It is.
There's no power on this island. You're building everything from scratch. Correct.
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean.
Is this SNL?
Well, I thought it was AI. Like, she looks so fake at this point also.
This person really is this out of touch. Like Ivanka describing an untouched island in Albania. You know, it's like a mosquito describing a blood bank.
It's the entire infrastructure, the whole family unit, plus the administration that has no semblance of care or understanding for the average American's life.
I'm working on
a luxury resort development linked to Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner is sparking protests in Albania. Thousands have been protesting and clashing with security guards over plans to build on a stretch of protected coastline, basically. Reports say that the project would potentially include hotels, apartments, villas, and a marina on Albania's southern coast located in a wildlife reserve, along with a smaller resort on the nearby uninhabited island of Sazan, which is a former communist-era military base. Environmental groups say the construction threatens habitats used by flamingos, seals, and nesting sea turtles, as well as an important stopover for migratory birds. Ivanka Trump has said on David Senra's podcast just this Sunday, in fact, that she and Jared Kushner found the island by chance while on vacation.
We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the island. We went on a hike barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated, and it stayed with us.
She was barefoot and she swam. Give me a freaking break. I can't even see this bougie, naive, compulsive, pathological, seriously brainwashed girl to be barefoot swimming any damn where in some foreign land. That is straight up freaking baloney. I'm sorry. That is bull crap. I can't believe she said, I mean, seriously, you know, that is baloney, straight up freaking baloney. And y'all know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right. Seriously, this is baloney. She is seriously lying. Sorry, I had to say that. That was bullcrap.
Ever since.
An investment firm linked to Kushner has been granted special investor status by the Albanian authorities. But Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama, speaking to me, rejects claims that the development is harming protected areas.
There is not such a thing like a Trump family Ireland. There is not such a thing like the family of the American president taking over protected areas where flamingos will be killed by them. These are all stories that, of course, get traction, but can't be farther from the truth.
Rama says Albania should welcome a project of this scale, describing it as part of the country's push to become a major tourism destination. The chairman of Sazan Real Estate Development LLC, which is developing plans in partnership with Kushner's firm, said, quote, "Our focus remains on responsible stewardship, environmental enhancement, job creation, and creating long-term value for local communities. We respect according to Albania's state anti-corruption agency, meantime, says it opened an investigation related to the project, but it hasn't revealed any details. And this is according to the AP. A luxury.
Let me just say this. It seems that locals say the resort threatens the environment and their way of life. Here are economic concerns. Critics argue it will raise housing costs and push out residents. Now, the political optics, which you all should be definitely paying attention to, is that some say the timing feels out of touch given national economic stress. Supporters view the backers claim it will create jobs, boost tourism. Yeah, it may do that. That's one of the positive attributes of any new project in a land that, wasn't booming. It was just some kind of residential, infested land for no telling how many years. Okay. Now, the bigger pattern, renewed scrutiny of Ivanka and Jared's business ventures post-White House. Okay, that's the bigger picture. So they're basically trying to boost up their empire and the Trump's name. And Ivanka, who's completely denying her sick pedophilia, corrupted, lying-ass past, that her dad, who's been abusing her since a kid, is trying to pay her and to stay silent by throwing whatever money she wants, lying about whatever her education is, just literally paying for her silence. And she is taking it like, sure, thank you, great, wonderful, ooh, ah, yes. Meanwhile, innocent kids are forced to be shunned and not even acknowledged because she could literally be a vessel that could be burst open for anyone to have enough bravery to come forward. But considering her dad is paying for her silence, that's exactly what she's going to continue doing all the way to the damn bank. And that is insulting. That is so insulting. Seriously. And I'm going to show you why this is still bothering her. The way he did her mother is still bothering her. What happened to her as a child is still bothering her. But she's just trying to do this, shove it all in with the blind fake highlights and all the makeup and the boob jobs and all the millions and billions of dollars and the perks and stuff, of knowing that your dad raped you since you were a kid, and he's paying for your silence. You know what? She's going to say, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, anyone who's like this, seriously, their head examined. But let me just get a little further here because there's a little bit more information here that we need to talk about seriously. Why we're talking about the Epstein situation, because that's definitely going to be brought up a lot right now, considering, Ivanka and her disillusion, so to speak. Okay, let me just say this here. Okay, recent reporting and online discussion have brought renewed attention to Donald Trump, Ivanka, and their historical proximity to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, here's what's resurfacing. Old photos and social connections from the 1990s, leading all the way to the 2000s, are circulating again. Now, Epstein's flight logs and social calendars mention Trump multiple times, even with Ivanka alone sometimes. Ivanka's name appeared in social contacts involving Epstein's circle, mostly through proximity to her father and New York high society events and Epstein and his sick pedo friends. So he was bringing her probably as a party favor in the midst of a whole bunch of pedos and billionaires at a fucking Epstein party. And she was most of the time by herself. Yeah, and her mom, who apparently was terrified of Donald Trump, allowed her to do it because we already know that she was terrified of Trump. Or maybe she's lighted up with a drink or some Xanax or something. Who the fuck knows how she's dealt with this crazy ass man back in the day who literally had unlimited ways of treating a woman. He has no respect for women. That's been abundantly freaking clear. Imagine being like that, young and rich, and you are used to getting any and everything you want. And women are supposed to be disposable and just whatever I don't know. Whatever you want from them, he should be able to get it. They're not supposed to think. They're not supposed to talk. They're not supposed to do anything. They stand up there and look pretty and do what the hell I say. That is what he was raised to think of women as a commodity, as a property, okay, as a slave, as a baby maker. He has no respect. No woman is smarter than him. That's what he thinks. So newly unsealed documents from lawsuits and FOIA references, okay, to Trump and Epstein being socially connected, but no criminal charges have been filed against Ivanka or Trump in relation to Epstein yet. Please understand that. Now, critics argue the resurfacing is tied to political timings. Supporters say it's old news being recycled. These are mega supporters who send it's old news being recycled because they don't want their Lord and Savior to be ousted like this. But is it? Because I'm saying is that Ivanka and maybe even the rest of her siblings are literally terrified of Trump. Even in their grown years, they are still terrified of this man. And especially if he's a president and you have hitman and he acting like a mob boss and he have these Proud Boys and he's literally trying to give unlimited funding so they can do any dirty thing that he wants. So he can literally threaten anyone who oppose him. That's why he wanted the Proud Boys to be funded so they can literally be his own personal army. That's literally what's happening. That's literally what's going on here. He want to have unlimited power, and he want to ignite. I was going to say lit. He want to ignite and instill fear in anyone who opposes him, whether it's reporters, whether it's just regular influencers, whoever it is. He wants to ignite so much fear. Therefore, I mean, here's where you get crazy. Therefore, when things like this happen, in terms of anyone who opposed him, he just sent one of his Proud Boys out there and they would just liberate him or her. That's what he wants. And he wants us to pay for it. Let that sink in. Now, you MAGA people can say, oh, no, that's not true. Da, da, da. No. He's just trying to make sure he's respected. He should be respected. Okay, if you agree the way he treats women, you need your fucking head examined. Okay, let me just say this. Okay, seriously, and I'm going to say it again. When in reality, he's afraid of her. Ivanka should know this. In reality, Trump is afraid of her and her talking and her spilling all the beans, because right now she do hold the power to literally plummet and destroy his entire empire if she wants. She's literally the Cassie to this man. She's literally the Cassie to this man. If she wants to, she can destroy him, but she does not know that, because the only thing she cares about right now is the perks. Even though she can still have that and then some, and then her dignity and able to look in the mirror and not popping pills to make her forget all the crap that happened to her as a kid. But what message is she sending her own kids? You know what I'm saying? But here's what I'm saying here. She should know that she definitely have the power in her hands to literally destroy Trump. If she have any bravery to talk, which we know Ivanka does not. But what I'm seeing here is that Ivanka may have been allegedly abused by her father for many years, as we know, and saw him abuse many other kids over the years, and she learned to accept it and not say anything. From what I saw and from my personal experience and wisdom, it may be the money. It's definitely the money and her name and influence and the risk of losing all of that. That's what she's in risk of doing, even though she had literally treated her mom like crap and then buried her in some useless, discarded gravesite in his golf course, like she was just nothing to him. Like she don't have kids by him. She didn't give him the best of her years and her youth and her body and her sanity. And he just discarded her in a golf course like she was a piece of shit. And her kids have not came out and said nothing. Nothing. If y'all don't know if that's not seriously psychological, seriously, they are psychologically and seriously mentally terrified of this man. And that is a fact. They are terrified of him. I was going to say her, of him. Now, remember, there has been no charges or anything of the nature of her relating to any files or anything with Epstein or anything of the nature. She's more so the victim who turned recruiter, because now they're calling her and her husband literally the new Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what they're calling her and her husband right now. Hope she's... Oh, sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about that. Hit my mic. So I hope she knows that now the world is calling she and her husband the new Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. I hope she knows that now. This is what her silence is subjecting her whole entire reputation on. Yeah. This is the example she's showing her, I think her son and her daughter. Like, who cares if you get raped, trafficked, to your dad's friends or buddy friends, long as the paycheck's good, you should be good. That's the message she's sending. So anyway, like I said, there's no confirmed criminal involvement, just renewed scrutiny. This is what the MAGA people are saying. And public conversation. Take a look at these clips.
Ivana even said in court papers that Donald raped her and pulled out chunks of hair, which they both later denied. They're divorced, but everything isn't finalized until 1992. And Ivana receives $14 million, a 45-room mansion in Connecticut, an apartment in New York, a month every year at Mar-a-Lago, and I think something like $650,000 a year in child support. Meanwhile, he's living it up with Marla. He's kind of stringing her along, and they're dating, but he breaks up with her via FedEx, and then they get back together. He's giving interviews where he's bragging about being a player. He told Vanity Fair, "I had been in Europe, trucking every model in the world. My life was wild." 1993, Marla is pregnant, and then she gives birth to Tiffany Trump in October. Marla is just waiting for Donald to marry her. But during this time, Donald was going through a lot. He was on the verge of bankruptcy. His casino was failing. So they negotiate a prenup, and it's basically like you get $1 million, no alimony, and you can't talk about it. She's getting the short end of the stick, but what can she do? She wants to marry him. She has nothing, right? But they say, you know what? Let's renegotiate after 5 years. In December 1993, Marla and Donald get married in front of 1,000 guests. This picture sends me, but guess what? The girl fumbled the bag.
If they were using her to...
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Donald, do you ever discuss sex with your daughter?
No.
You do not?
No.
You've never sat
And I have a feeling we're not going to hear.
Yeah, no. You know about sexual predators and things like that.
Right.
I mean,
You are one.
All right, I was going to say that, but it's true.
Another embarrassing video.
Ever felt your heart skip a beat when the spotlight unexpectedly turns on you? That's exactly what happened when a charismatic talk show host laid bare a stunning revelation, and the reaction that followed was unforgettable. It started as light banter, a teasing moment on a live broadcast. But then the bombshell dropped. Hidden personal details once whispered in private were now on full display. And Ivanka, usually composed and in control, cracked. Her sharp breath, her pale expression, and that moment of denial. The room shifted. What was once clever commentary turned electric, and the audience leaned in. Then something remarkable happened. Amid the shock, there emerged a fresh wave of optimism. People praised Ivanka for her raw humanity. In the moment flawed, real, and undeniably human. Social media lights up not only with the drama, but with admiration for how she handled what felt impossible. It proves something powerful. When public figures show their human side even under pressure, they resonate harder. We see not perfection, but perseverance. We connect to their humanity, their courage to face the spotlight. So if you found yourself paused, perhaps empathizing, maybe even releasing a quiet, "Wow, you're not alone."
Donald, do you ever discuss sex with your daughter?
If they were using her to...
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Okay, in this clip here, I should have got a better clip, but in this clip here, you will see her giving a tour of her childhood bedroom. Although I'm a little confused on the her idols that she have on the wall. I mean, how old is Ivanka? Some of those idols, she would have been like 3-4 years old. I mean, whatever. Anyway, another subject for another time. Anyway. So in this clip, I want you to see how her face changed and her whole entire demeanor shifts when she views her bed. I want you to understand that. Now, if Ivanka was abused, which means more than likely she probably was drugged, and a lot of it she probably don't remember. And if she does remember, she's going to continue to stay drugged with ever adult drugs that rich people use. I don't know. I don't take pills. I mean, I may occasionally every blue moon take a Tylenol, and that's far as the pill I take. Okay, I don't know what rich people take. I really don't. But I think she probably is still drugging herself. I'm not talking about in terms of illegal drugs. I'm talking about prescription drugs to eliminate the memories and the PTSD that I'm sure she's getting, and she's trying to keep stifled. I never seen a naive, dumb girl in my life. But anyway, so here's what I want you guys to understand here. I want you to understand that it was rumor. Matter of fact, it's not rumor. It's kind of factual, but we just said rumor for legal purposes that Donald Trump used to trade his daughter around for party favors. And he definitely, you know what, to her for many years. And Ivana did know, and Ivana tried to stop it. But you see what happened to her. He beat her, ripped the hair out, and treated her like a piece of crap. Years shortly after she divorced him, and kids probably didn't know any of these things. She probably kept it to herself. And back in those days, us children and the moms, I'm sure, because they teach the children to brush it up under the rug and keep it moving. You're not allowed to accuse a man of anything. So here's what I want you guys to understand. Not to mention she was an immigrant anyway, and he probably threatened to send her back to her hometown. You know how Trump gets when he's upset. So pay attention when she tours the room with this reporter, and pay attention to her demeanor shifting when she talks about her bed. Just pay attention.
It's a little time capsule. If you notice by the Madonna clock and my interest, it's a little time capsule. If you notice by the Madonna clock and my interesting attempt at color painting, the homage to Poison and Motley Crue, the 90210 posters, little, I think they were trading cards that were stickers, and the Bon Jovi sort of wall. This was my bed. It's a little small for me now. Probably why I don't stay in here anymore, but yeah.
And what floor are we on?
We are on the 68th floor. Not a bad view to wake up to.
Did you guys catch that? Please tell me you caught that. Please tell me you caught that. Let me see if I can go back a little bit. Hold on. Let's see here. When she goes to her bed. Yeah, see, look at that. Yeah, you see? Right there. Yeah, see that look there? Right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Something happened. I don't care what y'all say. Something happened. Take a look at this clip.
She was extraordinary.
Oh, in this particular clip, she's talking about her mother. And this is the first time I've seen her get emotional at all about her mother, who I read that she and her mother were very close, and her mother loved her kids dearly. And I know how they can sit back and allow this man to bury their mother in such an insulting way. They are terrified of Trump. I'm telling you, they are terrified of this man. And despite them being terrified, they hold the power of his entire infrastructure in their hands. They can destroy him if they want to. He is afraid of them. If they only knew their own goddamn power. If they only knew their own damn power. But yet they keep him quiet and enabling his behavior. He's getting worse and worse and worse. He don't even care who he disrespects anymore. He don't care if he's on national television. He don't care who's filming it. It's going to get worse. And they're sitting back allowing this to happen because they are terrified of this man. Take a look at this clip.
She was extraordinary. My mother taught me a lot about just like bringing intention to what you do, sorry. She was extraordinary. My mother taught me a lot about just like bringing intention to what you do, sorry.
Yes, you guys see that? You see that? Yeah. Oh, I'm glad too. I wasn't getting any comments. I didn't know who were viewing. I don't know. I know I got the hacker and their little team viewing my shit, but I didn't know who were viewing at all. I'm glad you finally viewed, Mega. Thank you for answering. Yes. Exactly. Money is their king, but it shouldn't define them. Do they know how many lives they can save? Do they know how many shunned, hurt victims whom they can encourage to finally speak up? They're going to be rich as hell at the end of the day. They're never going to not be rich. So if it's about the money, they need to stop that. They probably get endless money when they come out of the dark and into the light and start telling their story, you know. I'm just so disappointed in this naive, stupid girl. I don't mean to call her stupid, but she acts stupid. I'm sorry. I'm no longer feeling pity over someone who continuously enabling their father after he raped her throughout her childhood. I'm sorry. I'm not going to feel pity for someone like that anymore. She's too grown for me to be feeling pity for her.
She was extraordinary.
All right. With that said, the Epstein connection with Trump is definitely not done. It seems here. Okay, it seems the Epstein conversation is back, and this time people are revisiting the Trump's family old social ties to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Photos, flight logs, and social calendars from the 90s, early 2000s are circulating again, showing Donald Trump and Epstein in the same circles and Ivanka appearing in proximity through New York high society events. And the resurfacing is raising questions about why these connections keep returning, especially now. Also, why did Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., marry Jeffrey Epstein personal banker Bettina Anderson? And this is a still shot on her face and demeanor shifting when she talked about her bed, which I'm sure Trump made sure it was off in the corner somewhere just in case he needs to do a little what, no one will hear her. So anyway, and why is Ivanka still afraid of speaking up and telling people what she saw? Is she loving the money that damn much? Even if it means her and her husband are literally, and I can't say this enough, being labeled as the new Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That is definitely the most grand toast and soul team title that anyone could freaking have. And she's willing to wear that with a badge of honor just for the love of money because she's too freaking wimpish over her dad. Wow. Go ahead and wear it as a badge of honor. Go ahead. Matter of fact, get Parallel and all kinds of products, hats and everything, identifying your husband and you as the new Ghislaine, because the S is silent, and Jeffrey Epstein. Go ahead, Ivanka. Go ahead. This is your new title right now. You are now a trafficker and an enabler of a trafficker because you are afraid to speak up on what he did to you. Yeah. Congratulations. So critics say it's political timing. Supporters say it's recycled noise. Either way, the Epstein files are back in the public eye. Okay, let's be realistic here. So let me just say this right quick. Here are the historical ties. Okay, the historical ties with these knuckleheads. Okay, Trump and Epstein were socially connected in the 90s and the 2000s, as we know. Ivanka proximity mostly through events, modeling circles, NYC society through her dad and whoever he wanted to, trade her for a party favor. Document releases new unsealed files mention Trump, but not Ivanka. Of course, we already know that already. They redacted hell out that. Netanyahu was definitely a freaking customer of Epstein, and he got his name redacted like you wouldn't believe. Some political timing. Critics say the resurfacing aligns with election season narratives, and then we have the public curiosity. The Epstein network continues to draw attention because so much remains unexplained, as we know. So his son, Donald Trump Jr., who was not really getting victimized so much during the Epstein, but he did go along with Ivanka on a lot of those trips along as a kid, but he was getting treated kind of like Trump in terms of, you know, sexual favors and stuff of that nature. So he was more so benefiting the plus factor, not so much of getting abused, if that makes sense. She was getting treated like Trump treat women, and he was getting treated like the rest of the perverts and pedos in that island. So he probably didn't take it the way she did, you know what I'm saying? Even though he was too young to be exposed to that. So that explains why he's kind of embracing the whole Epstein connection, even marrying Epstein's banker, because to him, he probably think Epstein was the greatest thing coming. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Okay, so let me just continue here. Okay, let's go ahead and dissect Netanyahu. And I'm going to literally mispronounce his name on freaking purpose. As you can see here, this is on the Epstein file. And this is actually real. This is Netanyahu with the underage girl. He is in the files. He is in the files. This is one file that he tried to redact, but couldn't redact completely. So Netanyahu is in the files. He was an Epstein client completely, where he's trying to weasel his way out of. He was definitely an Epstein client. Okay, so he can just stop pretending that he wasn't, and he was just a business associate or whatever crap he's trying to. Matter of fact, I gotta tell you what the hell he's trying to do. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm about to tell you right now what he's claiming he is. Okay, this is what Netanyahu is saying. Now, the factual investigation concludes that no public evidence shows a direct or operational relationship between Benjamin Netanyahu and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, what does exist or indirect overlapping networks? Well, political weaponization and Epstein's much stronger ties to Ehud Barak and Netanyahu, longtime political rival. So Netanyahu publicly denies any Epstein Israel intelligence. Netanyahu has repeatedly argued that Epstein did not work for Israel, pointed to Epstein's unusually close relationship with former PM Ehud Barak, which is this gentleman right here. That's who this gentleman is right here. Okay. Now, oh yeah. Now, Epstein's strongest Israel-related ties were, this is what Netanyahu was saying, were with Ehud Barak Netanyahu. Yeah. So Epstein's strongest Israel ties, is he saying, is with Ehud Barak, not Netanyahu. Sure, even though he's in the files, but whatever. Documents, emails, and reporting show Epstein met with Barak multiple times, invested with him, and even claimed to advise Barak in 2019 political comeback. Netanyahu uses this to politically attack Barak and deflect espionage claim and client claims and rape claims and pedophile claims and treason claims and warmongering claims and all kinds of claims is under Netanyahu, who literally should be in jail. Just saying. Now, indirect links to existing released documents show Epstein acted as a social connector among global elites. A 2011 email thread suggests Epstein was aware of or looped into a meeting involving Netanyahu. Through intermediaries. Yeah, but not directly involved, so to speak, because, you know, Pamela Bondi and her little homeboys made sure to have those names redacted like you wouldn't believe. I mean, redacted, took it away, because she's also a pedo and rapist enabler too. Yeah, women can be involved in that too, not just men. Okay. So some Israel government personnel coordinated security and an Epstein link Manhattan building, but this does not prove intelligent ties. Yeah. So here, that was pretty much what the release documents showed, to be perfectly honest. So listen to this. No conclusive evidence of Netanyahu Epstein operational relationship across all reviewed files and media reports and DOJ releases. Nothing publicly available shows Epstein worked for Netanyahu or that Netanyahu used Epstein in any official capacity. At least that's the message he's trying to bring forth. Now, the connections remain indirect, political or social, and not operational. But there are leaks, any connections, emails, and pictures, etc., that were removed or redacted from Epstein files. Now, this picture, as you see here, this picture as you see here is Netanyahu with an underage girl that was in the files that they forgot to redact. They forgot to redact this. They forgot to remove this. And I'm sure if we can find somewhere in someone's computer or in their database, some really high-tech computer experts and go in their computer database or the recycle bin somewhere, because then nothing gets erased. I'm sure that we find the unredacted and deleted files from the Epstein files that would definitely indict the heck out of this pedo rapist. Just want to point that out. Yeah. This is Netanyahu. Yeah. Okay. Now to sum it up. Okay. There is a new investigation into Benjamin Netanyahu alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein and direct or operation, I should have said. What does exist are indirect overlaps, social networks, email threads, and political spin. Netanyahu had aggressively denied any Epstein Israel intelligence link and instead points to Epstein's unusually close relationship with his political rival Barak. He's on his Barak dick. What do you want to fuck him or something? I mean, goddamn. It's obsessive. It's like with Trump and Obama and anyone else for that matter. I mean, are these dudes just a bunch of gay? Never mind. I'm going to let that ride. Anyway, but as we all know, megas and especially Netanyahu are liars. Documents do show Epstein acted as a connector among global elites and was aware of meetings involving Israel figures because he stayed really close to Israel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He may be hiding out there right now. So meetings involving Israel figures, but nothing in the public record proves he worked for Netanyahu or Israel intelligence. Now, here's what I want to say. There's no direct tie between Netanyahu and Epstein. It isn't. That's what they're freaking saying here. Okay, I'm just telling you what they're saying. Okay, they're saying there is no direct tie between Netanyahu and Epstein found in public documents, but that could have been removed or redacted right along with the rest of Trump pedo rapists and criminal friends. Netanyahu denies all espionage claims and uses Barak only as ties to the political ammunition. So anytime they talk about him and his ties to Epstein and all the little sick crap that Epstein did, he diverted back to this man right here. Every time some come up, he diverted right back to him. Seriously. Well, Barak. Well, Netanyahu, we found claims and a lot of ties and financial ties between you and Epstein and, and things of that sort. No, that was Barak. That's literally what this sick FUCKR does all the time. It's Barak. So Epstein-Barak relationship is the strongest document Israel related. He gonna make sure that as long as he stays in power and Trump continuously have him in power, which I think Trump is literally scared of this man because he has direct connects to Israel, and Israel is direct connects to the Rothschild, who are rich as hell and literally have had the government by the balls. Okay, and they. It's a long story. I did a whole entire video about the Rothschilds. So just look that crap up. Okay. So anyway, Israel-related link, indirect overlaps, emails, social networks, Israel personnel, and an Epstein link building. Now, that's what they're saying. They're trying to get some documentation to considerably link Netanyahu to Epstein and get him out of there, although they already have ample amount of evidence to fire this man or whatever they're supposed to do because it's evidentiary that he's a psychopath. But just to sum it up, there is no conclusive evidence Epstein worked for Israel for Netanyahu. Well, I'm not done yet because I may have found some. Yeah, the girl, that's definitely going to eat. Okay. Now, I found some. Seriously. Okay, Epstein had multiple document ties to Israel political figures and organization, even though they claimed there was no ties, but there are a lot of paperwork going back and forth. But again, they're saying there's no ties. Now, according to a multi-source investigation compiled by this factually, he had connection with this. I think his name Hazira. I may be mispronouncing that, but it's Hazira. TRT World and Palestine Chronicle newly released DOJ documents show Epstein. He donated a lot of stuff. He donated a lot of stuff to Israel organization, even though they claimed he didn't have no ties, but he donated a lot of stuff to Israel organization, including Friends of the IDF, and the Jewish National Fund. And Jeffrey Epstein also had connections with the Rothschild family. Interactions with Israel political and security circles flagged by U.S. investigators for possible intelligence implications, though not proven. Now, these ties are documented, but they claim it still does not prove he worked for Israel intelligence, even though there's a lot of documentation connecting them to each other. Now, here's the strongest evidence right here. The strongest evidence here. Israel-related connection was with former PM. Remember, every time they talk about Epstein, Israel, Netanyahu, they're going to refer right back to Barak. Yeah, the Ehud Barak. They will go back to Ehud Barak. Yeah, always. Okay, so that's what they're going to continue saying. Seriously, it's sickening for real. Okay, now this is the most concrete, well-documented link. Epstein to Barak and a decade-plus friendship with dozens of meetings and private encounters. Epstein helped Barak with introductions, investments, and political outreach. Barak appeared in photos with Epstein and other elites that was released, by the Congress in 2025. Again, there says there is no evidence of wrongdoing by Barak, by the relationship is undeniably close and repeatedly referenced in the DOJ document. So they're making sure, their I's are crossed and their I's are dotted. Their T's are crossed, and make sure Netanyahu, who I'm sure made sure his name was all out of there and blanked it all on Barak. Yeah. Because it's looking too easy to just say Barak was all in and he's not in. It's kind of weird. It seemed kind of planned and set up to me, but whatever. So the allegations of Epstein working for Israel intelligence exist. Some documented confidential sources claimed Epstein was a co-opt by Mossad. Yeah, Mossad, you guys. And he was trained as a spy. Believed by at least one. Okay. Yeah, that I'm telling you, that's the truth. Now, remember, it's important. It's important. These claims appear in memos. The public record does not confirm Epstein was Mossad. Netanyahu denies any Epstein Israel intelligence link. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly stated Epstein did not work for Israel. Like, he gonna admit that? Why the hell would he admit that? Who would admit that? Oh yeah, he worked for Israel. Oh yeah, sure. We had some coffee and dinner together. We even went and had golf. Yeah, why would he admit that? He gonna lie to the cows come on. It's not stupid. He's not gonna admit that. Okay. So So Epstein's close relationship with Ehud Barak proves the opposite of intelligent ties. At least we take it from Netanyahu point of view. Now Epstein even rejected invitation to Israel, saying, I do not like Israel, even though he has so much financial and paperwork connected to Israel, but he claimed that he did not like it. Yeah, from the DOJ released emails. They could have edited that. Netanyahu uses Barak ties to counter-align claims that Epstein was Israel agent. No, you an agent, okay? Meaning that we don't know if Epstein was lying or not. Israel was his biggest competition. Please understand that. Or maybe client, who knows? But all we do know is that it all ties down to money and trafficking of children. Just want to point that out. So the DOJ did document releases, revived scrutiny, but still no definite proof. Now, the 2026 DOJ released millions of pages highlighting communications referencing Israel figures, donated to Israel groups, FBI memos, but, they still want us to believe that Epstein has no ties to Israel, but he's donating all this money and have all these connections with them, but he don't know Netanyahu and there's no connections. Sure. Why he donate to the audacity to play us like fools, to think that we don't know that the connection he has with this particular country, continent, where the hell it is so freaking deep and so scary and so bloody and so dark. They are doing everything in their possibility to make sure that we do not put the connection together of Epstein with Israel, that Israel is connected to Rothschild, and if any family who has the power to cover up a death will be that particular family and that particular land. Like, we're not stupid to, you know what, whatever. But I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to read this verbatim here. There is plenty of donations to Israel groups, FBI memos noting possible intelligence implications, but no conclusive evidence of formal intelligence employment or operations. Now, the picture is complex, but the bottom line is clear. Epstein has significant ties to Israel elites and organization, but nothing verified operational link to Mossad or Israel government. Now, to sum it up, newly released documents files show Jeffrey Epstein had multiple ties to Israel political figures, organizations, including donations to groups linked to the Israel military, and a long, well-documented friendship with former Prime Minister Ehud Barak, as we know. Some FBI memos even record informants claiming Epstein was connected to Israel intelligence, but none of those allegations, of course, is proven. Now, Netanyahu denied any link to Epstein unusual, despite the picture I just showed you. Okay, Epstein unusual close relationship with Barak evidence. So far, the public record shows social, financial, and political overlap, but no confirmed information, operational tie to Mossad, even though there's a lot of money going back and forth to Israel. There's a lot of paperwork going back and forth to Israel. There's a lot of emails going back and forth to Israel, but they want us to say, but he has no connection to Israel. Sure, let's go with that. Okay, let's talk about this Senate passed $69.5 billion bill. Okay, yeah. So $69.5 billion reconciliation package to fund ICE and Border Patrol. You know, Trump's little soldiers to, do the trafficking, the beating, the threatening, the lynching. They're like his new generation KKK members. That's who the ICE members and the Proud Boys currently are. They are his KKK members. So, and his traffickers too. Yeah, sure. And then he wants us to pay for it. Who the fuck he think he is? So, covering the entirety of Trump, second term, the vote was 52-47 with only one Republican, Lisa Murkowski. She had her head examined. Oh my gosh. Voting no, well, you know what? It don't even matter. The bill moved through reconciliation, meaning it's only needed a simple majority, no filibuster possible, whatever. So here's what I'm going to say here, you guys. I don't even want to talk about this stupid fucking bill. I'm going to be real with you. Okay, it just got to get to the House. And I'm going to go ahead and sum this shit up. It's got to go to the House for this little KKK funding bill that he want our tax money to pay for KK/ICE members. Okay, it has to get to the House. And we already know how Mike Johnson, who is currently, Trump's little bitch and little puppy dog, who's, when he say jump, he say how high. We already know how Mike Johnson get down. So, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to go ahead and skip that because every time I talk about this little KKK funding bill, I'm not going there right now. Okay, let's talk about this right here. The newly released FBI documents forced out through Judicial Watch. Oh, yeah. So the FOIA lawsuit reveals several major developments in the 2024 Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on the then candidate Donald Trump. So we have here some email redactions about the so-called assassination that Trump claimed actually happened. But as you can see, it's redacted like a bitch. So we don't even know what's going on here. But there's a lot of evidence that this was seriously premeditated and it was already planned, that these assassinations were definitely planned by the Republican Party. Oh my gosh. It's starting to be confirmed. And I mean, it's evidentiary, seriously. Okay. So here's what the documents show. The shooter emailed a sheriff deputy before the attack to let them know that I'm in place. The actor was in place and he was ready to do some stuff. Okay, all righty then. Now, the shooting mailed a sheriff's deputy before the attack. A Butler County Sheriff deputy discovered 2 emails from shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks in her inbox. Now, the FBI redacted the context, and timing of the emails. They redacted stuff that didn't even need to be redacted, but, you know, the FBI works for Trump, and they're all a bunch of crooks anyway. So the deputy said had no personal interaction with Crooks and only found emails after NYT reporter contacted her. Sure, let's go with that. Now, the medic found Crooks dead on the AGR rooftop. Now, a Beaver County Emergency Services medic climbed to the rooftop. This is this Pennsylvania assassination allegedly attempt by an actor using a collapsible ladder or something. She found Crook's face down, flexed, cuffed with injuries not sustainable for life. She pronounced him dead at 6:25, allegedly, if it even happened. A SWAT officer found a mysterious device in Crook's pocket and Washington County SWAT officer recovered gray remote device with numerical push buttons and antenna plus a cell phone. The purpose of the device is not explained in the document. Sure. The FBI documents are heavily redacted, as you can see. 48 pages released, but large sections are blacked out. It's pointless to even look at it because they redacted a whole bunch of shit. Why they even release it for? And they redacted stuff that didn't need to be redacted. Yeah. They want us to believe they're not hiding anything. So, large sections are blacked out. Yeah. Judicial Watch was the redaction raised more questions than answer because they redacted the hell out these documents. The medic reported confusion and conflicting radio traffic. Reports of multiple operators down, confusion about whether there was a shootout because, you know, no one saw crap. No one saw a bullet flying at all. And it's supposed to be an AK-47 or something. The only thing that happened was his ear, which means the people behind Trump was completely fine. Nothing got hit. If it passed him, nothing else got hit. The bullet just disappeared, apparently. No one else got hit. Nothing got hit. He didn't even. Matter of fact, the scar behind his ear is no longer there anymore because he's a miracle fucking healer. Yeah, even though he has a bruise in his hand that he has to put makeup on, but he's a miracle healer. So reports of multiple operators down, confusions about whether there was a shootout. A police canine later hit the AGR building, prompting evacuations. Oh, these people are just so special. Here's the video. Take a look at this.
Major red flags are surfacing regarding the purported assassination attempts relating to Donald Trump. Which assassination attempts, you ask? Well, all of them. Donald Trump alleges that there were 4 assassination attempts against him in the past 2 years or so. Additionally, the New York Post recently reported that there are purported assassination plans against Ivanka Trump regarding the IRGC, and that was uncovered. And now they had to arrest an individual in Turkey who was an IRGC cell. And let's just break down all the red flags. The biggest red flag, and you got to give it up to Judicial Watch for making this FOIA request. Rarely will you hear me say, give it up to Judicial Watch. But here, Tom Fitton, by the way, is a MAGA guy. He writes, Judicial Watch announced that it forced the release of 48 heavily redacted pages from the FBI through a FOIA lawsuit, revealing that the Butler County Sheriff's deputy exchanged emails with the would-be Trump assassin, Thomas Crooks, prior to the July 13th, 2024 shooting. The records detail that a SWAT officer also recovered a, quote, gray remote device with an antenna from Crooks' pocket after he was killed. And as Kaylin Desi writes, here's what the Judicial Watch found. These are records from July 17, 2024, FBI electronic communications indicating that the Butler Sheriff's Office exchanged 2 emails with Crooks. the purported individual who was involved in the purported assassination attempt prior to July 13th Trump assassination attempt. The nature of the emails is redacted. So Judicial Watch did a FOIA request to the FBI. The FBI responded by producing this heavily redacted document. Why do you need all of these redactions right now? What are you investigating that requires all of these redactions to take place? And this references 2 email communications with crooks from the Butler Sheriff's Office prior to the shooting. Why was Crooks emailing the Sheriff's Department prior to the shooting? Why is the FBI redacting all of this? And I mean, I don't want to go down some path that you can go, oh, Ben, don't go and veer into conspiracy theory land. I hear you. Trust me, I hear you loud and clear, but this can be addressed so simply. Just remove the redactions. Why is everything with this regime, everything's redacted? On Wednesday, July 17th, special agent redacted, interviewed redacted, telephone number. I get.
Yep, it gets deep, ladies and gentlemen. It definitely gets deep. Definitely gets deep. I'm telling you, every time I go down Trump's little rabbit, crazy, psychotic hole, it gets darker and darker. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous. Seriously, I mean, the corruption just never freaking ends. Oh, thank you, J HUD. Thank you. Okay. All right, and the one you guys probably been hearing all over the news. Let's talk about thus. Okay. Donald Trump abruptly ended a televised interview after being pressed about his 2020 election fraud claims. Here's what happened. Now, the interview began calmly focused on his campaign and policy plans. Just another interview. Beautiful. Wonderful. When a journalist asks whether Trump was, just think about this. Beginning completely normal. This is normal bull crap, praising Trump, him bragging, acting like he's selling a car or some crap like that. Yeah, him doing his usual antics. Okay, completely normal. Then it shifts. It seriously shifts. And I'm loving that because that's some crap that I would like to do. That's when Kiki kicks in for me. Okay. So when a journalist asked whether Trump still stood by his claims that the 2020 election was stolen, he became visibly irritated. Trump accused the reporter of being dishonest and biased. Then, oh yeah, it gets crazy. Then stood up and left before the segment concluded. Now, the network later aired the full footage showing the walkout and Trump's aides attempting to calm the situation. They can't calm him. He does whatever he wants. I hear he throws stuff. He cusses him out. I mean, he's a crazy psychopath. Seriously, I don't know how they can put up with this crazy psychopath. I'll be trying to get him out of there and proving that he rigged the election. I'll be underhandedly doing that for real if I was those aides, but that's just me. So the internet reignited debate over Trump's ongoing election fraud narratives and his relationship with the mainstream media outlets. You know, I got the clip, y'all. Here we go.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. And
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
You play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
You know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You have
Blanche.
more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
you
in
went
this
to
country,
court.
we're like a third world country.
But, sir,
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and
But
Meet
Mr.
the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But Mr.
You're
President,
one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
we
great
traveled
with a dishonest
listen,
press.
we
Come on,
traveled
let's go.
all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
Did you guys see how he called her a crook? Wow. And all she did is just ask questions, and he called her a crook. I love how she didn't get irate. I'm loving the fact that she remained composed and calm. She definitely gave me some Barbara Walters. She definitely gave me some Gayle King. She definitely gave me some Oprah Winfrey. But this is wow. Now to sum it up, okay.
See and see.
To sum it up, Donald Trump stormed out of the interview after being asked again about the 2020 election fraud claims. He claimed that, he won by a landslide despite whatever negative press, whatever the hell he was saying. No, your boy Elon Musk rigged it. Never mind. Whatever. Your boy, Elon Musk rigged the election. That's how you won. So if you got negative press because no one voted for you, remember the people vote. Okay, so if you got negative press and marches and all kinds of stuff that happened directly after your win, which means the election was rigged and majority of the people voted for Kamala, despite this 2020 that he's still harpooning on. He needs to get over that shit already. So the exchange started civilly, but when the reporter press, he's still harpooning on 2020 the Biden thing. I mean, dude, get over it already. I mean, I'm done. Whatever. You lost, and you should have lost this time too. But you had your boy Elon Musk rigging the election, which he should go to jail for and deported. The exchange started civilly, but when the reporter pressed him on whether he still believes the election was stolen, Trump called the question dishonest and walked off set. The network aired the full clip, as you can see there. Anyway, talking points here. Okay, it seems that the tone shift from calm, visibly frustrated to abrupt exit. Now the media reacted. Networks air full footage, as you can see. I said footage, as you can see here. Renewed focus on Trump messaging discipline because he doesn't know when to shut up. He just be typing and messaging, and no one seemed to stop him. But judging from the way he treats this woman, we can pretty much guess that his whole entire staff is scared of him. And let's see how Radius. This is a man who thrives on his whiteness and his MAGA white supremacy, but he loves dyeing himself orange and purple and red and stuff. Dude, why don't you just bask in your paleness? So supporters call it media they saying it was media profligation, saying they were trying to get more people in tune. Critics call it was avoidance and some kind of distraction. Yeah, that's what his people are trying to pretty much say. And whatever, I'm done. The point of the matter is Trump acted like a little brat, and he basically showed his true colors during this whole interview. He insulted that woman for doing her goddamn job when it was just an interview. Several interviews with reporters being completely disrespectful to Kamala, and she remained calm. There was reporters who was being disrespectful to Barack Obama. He remained calm. But Trump is allowed to have a hissy fit with no repercussions. And his MAGA people still want to see that he's a corrupted president. They say he was just in his right, and a woman should have never asked him any questions, and a woman should always know her place. That's the majority of his MAGA people. Seriously. For real. That is the serious tea here. Okay? Okay. Now, let's move on to our next segment here. I'm done with Trump and his stupidity because he gets on my nerves. He's working on my damn nerves. For real.
You're blinded by them. You need that. You're blinded by them. You need that.
There seems to be some review of Michael Jackson convenient documentary that conveniently came out after his box office breaker movie by some racist, money-hungry young people. Here's what they are saying. Okay, take a look at these clips.
Listen, y'all, I just got finished from watching the Michael Jackson documentary on Netflix called The Verdict. If you ain't watched that shit, let me just say, don't even do it. Don't even give it light. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, this fucking movie will piss you off. I watched this documentary and I watched it all in one wad. And the whole time I'm like, wait a minute. If all these stupid motherfuckers knew that he was guilty, if they knew that he was doing the stuff that he was doing and they were finding all of this evidence and they had all these hardcore facts, then why did none of that stuff ever come out? Why would you wait until he dies? Why would you wait years and years and years later to start bringing this shit up now? You hating ass motherfuckers who couldn't stand to see that this new Jackson movie came out, and you see that it made billions of dollars, and people who are fans and people who weren't fans are falling in love with him all over again. You hating ass spiteful ass motherfuckers can't stand it. You can't stand the fact that you lost the trial. You can't stand the fact that the jury found him not guilty across the board. You can't stand it. So you had to come out with this fucking whatever how many part documentary called The Verdict to try to throw dirt on his name. You're trying to throw shade on his name. You're trying to blur the lines so that people will know, oh, well, this is what happened behind the scenes. Here's what you guys didn't know behind the scenes. That's some punk ass shit because he's no longer here to defend himself. He's no longer here to, none of that shit that was in his house don't exist. The stuff in his house don't exist. None of that shit exists now to be able to defend him. You're coming out with this shit now so that you can blur his name and that you can throw shade on his name and that people can look at him in a different light and start hating on him and start hating him and start seeing him in a different way. You guys refuse to let this man have his legacy. You refuse to let this man die in honor and die in his legacy. And that's some punk ass shit. It's some punk ass shit for motherfuckers to dig the grave up and try to have a verdict via documentary and try to scrutinize the public eye when it comes to this man. He's dead. So that's some punk ass shit that you guys did. And Netflix, shame on you because you're always trying to fucking build your pockets off of some punk ass shit. But I like to know from you guys, what was your thoughts on the documentary? Because I know that this motherfucker is going to go wild and people are going to start talking. But you know what? Not this one. I still think the man is a legend. And he was found not guilty.
Having a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, me too. Me too. Miss him dearly. Absolutely. And I agree with her. I didn't even watch the documentary. Seriously. I knew it was going to be bullcrap anyway. I'm just reading comments and stuff of that nature. I refuse to. No, I didn't watch it. And I have no intention on watching it either. All right, here's the next clip.
No documentary,
given the time limits, can do justice to the case we put on. And again, no documentary, given the time limit, can do justice to the case we put on. And again, I want to every time to Michael Jackson.
To be blunt,
Well, no documentary, given the time limits, can do justice to the case we put on. And again, I want to repeat, 10 felonies, 4 misdemeanors, not guilty every time, a clean sweep against the prosecution, total exoneration of Michael Jackson.
That people have raced to make money out of it, to be blunt.
Well, that's what it is. The media, I'm not including everybody, the media tends to want to glorify salacious allegations. They don't like to spend time on the counter argument. So the media and this documentary spends time on very dramatic, disturbing, salacious allegations and doesn't do justice to the problems with the prosecution's witnesses and the prosecution's case. For example, there's no mention of Chris Tucker, who was our last witness, the famous comedian and actor. He testified as our last witness. He said that he knew this family, he had experienced them, he had concerns about them, and he told Michael to be careful. And he described the accuser as cunning. I called Jay Leno as a witness. Jay Leno testified that the accuser and someone in the background, he thought it was his mother. The accuser sounded scripted. Something seemed off. And after that phone call, he told his staff to never put them through again. Comedian George Lopez testified that people in the accuser's family accused him of stealing from the accuser's wife, who ran a local newspaper nearby the location where this family was operating. And she said that she was approached by the mother. The mother said they were out of funds. They needed money for their child's health care. And she tried to raise money through the newspaper, only to find out that they were using insurance through the Teamsters Union. And she said, I was duped.
Yep, there it is.
No documentary.
All right, custody battle in Los Angeles over his 4-year-old daughter, lovely Stefani Brown, with his ex Diamond Brown. What? Did they get married or something? Whatever. Diamond filed for sole legal and physical custody in May 2026, proposing that Brown receive only visitation rights. She also sought to have Brown cover her legal costs. What's this girl up to? Brown has fired back, filing court documents that demand joint legal and physical custody for Lovely, giving both parents equal decision-making and parenting time. He is also refusing to pay Diamond's legal fees, insisting both parties split the costs. I agree. What the hell is wrong? Don't she got a job or something? They're not married, as far as I know. I don't know. If he's already a good father and everything, get a goddamn job. Start a career. Go back to school. You're gonna live off him forever? That's pathetic. Just dumb. What are you gonna do when your daughter turn 18? Stupid. The case began when Diamond, who gave birth to Lovely on January 7, 2022, and publicly shared the news, sought full custody. Brown later confirmed paternity publicly. Now, the dispute has been complicated by public tensions. Diamond accused Brown of interfering in her dating life. While Brown's current partner, Jada Wallace, accused Diamond of limiting Brown's access to Lovely. So it's just back and forth. The primary source I'm seeing here is, okay, I know this young man here is a Taurus. Tauruses are very dominating or do have some jealousy tendencies that are freaking annoying. I can completely understand that. Okay, him and a Taurus, they do have jealousy and dominating tendencies. Okay, but they can get over it, and they can definitely, if you speak to them with some sense and you try to be civil and compassionate with them, they will move on. Now, what Chris Brown needs to do, if he is being like that and making it harder for her to move on, maybe he should stop doing that, or he'll continuously come out of the pocket. And also, Chris Brown needs to get his ass snipped. Go ahead and get your vasectomy and get your crap snipped, so you got to worry about having any more goddamn kids. Now, Diamond, if he isn't doing that and you just lying, trying to get more money, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, you're a very pretty, very young lady. Go ahead and get your shit together. Get your own goddamn money. Stand on your own 2 feet. Living off your baby daddy's child support. That is pathetic. Get up and do something. I see if you was being blacklisted and getting manipulated and sabotaged and embezzled from like my ass, but you are fine. Do something. Now, this is sick and stupid. Take a look at these clips.
Well, Chris Brown and Diamond Brown are making headlines again. This reads, Chris Brown to ex-Diamond, I want joint custody of our 4-year-old daughter. It says Chris Brown is fighting for joint custody after his baby mama Diamond Brown asked the court to only give him visitation. Remember in May, Diamond asked the Los Angeles court to award her legal and physical custody of their kid Lovely Brown. She proposed that Chris only be granted visitation rights. But it's looking like Chris Brown isn't on board with that and fired back in court documents obtained by TMZ demanding joint legal and physical custody. He also said he and Diamond should cover the cost of their legal matter because in her filing, she asked the court to make him cough up the cash, pay for the court fees. And of course, they brought up this spat again, that this happened weeks after Diamond trashed Chris and so on and so forth. Now, with Chris Brown going on tour again or constantly on tour every year, how does this work? Like, okay, you want joint custody, but does that mean taking Lovely with him? Or anyway, seems like this might get even more messy before it gets any better.
So is she just jealous because he's with another woman or something? I don't know anything about these young kids and their little childish bullshit ass games. I really don't know, and I really don't freaking care. I mean, I personally been in Aquarius. I don't care what the hell he does. I don't care who he meet, whatever, as long as he's leaving me the hell alone. And he can see his kids. We're literally talking about nothing but our kids. So you come pick up a child, okay, good. When you pick her, okay, great. Bye. That's it. There's no interaction. He gets no VIP at all. But that's just me. I don't know what these young, naive, silly, ghetto, crazy, ratchet-ass girls doing nowadays. I have no idea.
Chris Brown is fighting back in court, and this time it's over custody of his daughter. According to reports, Diamond Brown recently asked the Los Angeles court for sole legal and physical custody of their 4-year-old daughter, Lovely Symphony Brown, while proposing that Chris only receive visitation rights. But Chris is now pushing for joint legal and physical custody instead. He's also asking that both sides pay their own legal fees, after Diamond reportedly requested that he cover hers.
Diamond needs to get her act together. I mean, if she's just acting like this because he's with this other chick, she needs to get her act together. You want him to move on, but you want him to let you move on, but can he move on? See, I got time for these childish high school freaking games, man. This is sick. Both of them need to just grow the fuck up, seriously. For like getting a belt and whipping all their butts and put them in the corner and put them on punishment because that's childish how they're acting right now. Okay? I'm just going to say that. Brown is also the father to royalty, who is 12 with former model Nia Guzman. And he's the father to Aiko Katari Brown, who's 6 with ex-girlfriend Amika Harris. And he has a baby boy with Jada Wallace, welcome in late April 2026. So, yeah. The custody case is still ongoing, and the outcome determined whether Brown retains joint custody or is Diamond request for sole custody and endless money because she just, I guess she don't have her own money, I guess. I don't fucking know. Anyway, moving right along here. Okay, in this last insertment here, and I'm going to try to go through this real quick here. We're going to talk about the cat stuff tomorrow. I'm getting tired, and I don't know who's viewing my stuff right now, so I'm not going to continuously sit up here and talk and feel like I'm talking to myself like some crazy psycho person. I'm not doing that. All right, so the Ashlee Jenae case. It seems like authorities have officially ruled influencer Ashlee Jenae Robinson death by suicide after months of long investigation. Okay, the cause of death they're saying was suicide due to mental distress. She was reportedly found hanging inside a wardrobe suspended from a clothing rail using a robe belt provided by the hotel. Digital evidence. Investigators reviewed online searches, including a chat GPT query and fatal volume doses. They also found messages that interpreted as signs of emotional distress, a possible farewell note. Sure. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and go through all that. Timeline contacts. Ashley died on April 9th during a birthday trip to Zanzibar with fiancé Joe McCann. Days earlier, the couple had heated argument and hotel staff separated them into different rooms. Joe McCann's statement, well, McCann, whatever. I'm going back and forth. Said ruling does not lessen the tragedy and express ongoing grief. He was never arrested or charged, and authorities confirm no criminal wrongdoing on his part. Are we surprised? Hell no. Considering he's a huge customer down there, and judging from what I got going on, they got a nice little sex ring going on down there. So they was going to back him up anyway. They was going to back him up anyway. The family response. Well, it seems her family previously questioned the circumstances and said that she was happy and not suicidal. Judging from her post, she seemed very happy, not suicidal to me as well. They asked the public to treat any non-family information as unverified. I would definitely do that as well. I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't think she committed suicide. I don't know what this chat GPT crap bullshit is, but I do know that this young man definitely has computer ties, okay? Let's be realistic here, okay? He does. He has computer ties. He know how to get computers, and he was always taking her computer and her phone. He could have planted all that goddamn evidence to, clear him of any wrongdoing. Here are some clips.
Officials in Zanzibar just released a report on the death of influencer Ashlee Robinson. They say that she attempted to hang herself at the Zurich Hotel, and that was the cause of her death. Now, if you've been following this story, you know she was there celebrating her birthday. Her boyfriend, Joe McCann, proposed to her. Her family, who I spoke to early on in this ordeal, said they were concerned about not getting concrete answers regarding this investigation. The attorney for Joe McCann told me that his client was relieved to finally come back home a couple of weeks ago so that he can start grieving the loss of Ashlee. For many, there are still a lot of questions surrounding exactly what happened that night. According to a freelance journalist there who got us video of the news conference, the investigation found that Ashlee died as a result of the suicide attempt she made on April 8th of 2026. And they also noted that no other person was involved in causing her death. I did reach out to the family of Robinson as well as Joe McCann's attorney and have not heard back.
Secret Service Sam here, and this seems a little bit suspicious in the unaliving of Ashlee Jenae Robinson, the influencer who lost her life in Tanzania with her fiance. They had just gotten engaged. There is video that circulated that we're not sure, is it AI, is it fake, that showed them having a fight, an altercation. The hotel separated them, put them into different hotel rooms. Well, it has now been revealed that she used ChatGPT to ask questions about unaliving herself, all right? Now, people ask, Sam, why do you say unaliving? Because the algorithm won't let me say the real word that you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm digressulating. A lot of people are speculating online. Nobody is believing Joe McCann's story. The family doesn't believe it. He wasn't invited to the funeral, which is sus. But the Tanzanian authorities have cleared him. Some people are saying he paid them off, but a lot of people are pointing to, couldn't he have taken her phone and searched these things up? Wouldn't that have been easy for him to get her phone before this happened, before what happened to her, search this so he had an alibi? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of the world.
I'm glad all of us are on the same page. I wish for nothing but justice for Ashlee Jenae and for peace to come in pertaining to this girl's death and her family dealing with. You got to be specific when you say these little omens and wishes and whatever you want to say, because you don't want to send something on the open and you giving them your energy. I'm being specific here. I hope for nothing but justice and peace to come for any troubles pertaining to Ashlee Jenae's memory and the stress that will come to her family pertaining this case. I wish for nothing but justice and pertaining to this case for Ashlee Jenae and her family and friends. And I'm out. I was going to go into a whole little thing, but he said what I pretty much said anyway, and I'm tired. I would definitely give you guys a little bit of moment for I go into deep about cats. I do have a really deep video that I'm going to talk about cats and the power of cats and why cats are feared by a lot of animals, you know, especially dogs. A lot of dogs are afraid of cats, and why cats were definitely praised and honored during Egyptian times, and the power and the dynamic that cats still hold. I would definitely dive deep into that depth on my next live show, so stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the like button and share. And thank you for staying out the duration of this live show. I'll have the timestamps before the end of the day. Bye.